How sentient does something have to be for it to be subject to our thousands of rules and set of morals? Does it have to be human? Or can I claim assault and battery on the shampoo bottles for falling on me while I shower?
What the hell?
It's certainly a very debatable topic, but you're not here for existential questions. Today, we'll be trying V1 under the law. More specifically, under Canadian law, because it's more uniform than US criminal law, which varies by state. Thus, it's more convenient for me. But bear with me, I'm not an expert on law. I'm literally taking this off the first result on Google. So I would encourage you to add any additional charges that I may have missed, or correct me if I'm incorrect on a certain issue. With that out of the way, we should be clear to continue. Let's address the elephant in the room, V1's total kill count. Thankfully, there's a handy little count that's already there when you complete the level. So for all intents and purposes, we'll work off the assumption that V1 is achieving the P rank in every level, therefore completely wiping out anything that stands in its way.
Give me your blood.
Because V1 isn't held to
Sustain itself with the blood of the living.
it means we could count any kill as premeditated, thus becoming first-degree murder. So, therefore, the defendant is charged with 1,582 counts of first-degree murder. However, the two prime souls threatened and tried to kill him, so you can argue self-defense in both cases. And if you want to count the secret levels and the encores, that number goes around 200 or more. And in accordance with the law, first-degree murder carries a penalty of life imprisonment, so that's already a hefty time behind bars. As far as bodily harm goes, that's not all the punishments he's facing. Remember, he tried to kill V2 in their first encounter, and tried to kill Gabriel twice, so those would count as 3 charges of attempted murder. I wouldn't count V1's fight with Gabriel as self-defense, since he clearly tells him to back off, and he doesn't, and his dialogue suggests he's also trespassing. V1 has also been known to commit various instances of property damage. Literally in the prelude, he's able to break 90 panes of glass, and I'm not saying he did break every brick of a wall, glass, or whatever, but there's just way too many things for V1 to break that I feel it will eventually exceed $5,000 in damages. Any property damage exceeding $5,000 carries a maximum penalty of 10 years, and considering the amount of destruction, I think the maximum is a befitting punishment. We'll also have to add some theft charges, most notably from stealing the core eject from the swords machine, the knuckle blaster and whiplash from V2, the freeze frames from this corpse right here, which may also count as grave robbery / desecration of a human corpse, and the crane within the earth mover because he used it without permission and thus would count as theft. This secret in the third level agreed would definitely get him charged with desecration of a human corpse. V1 also fishes without a license in 5-S. And he attains various weapons, all of which do not look like non-restricted firearms, so there's definitely a charge for possession of various firearms. This list is subject to change, considering the final 2 layers at this time haven't been released yet. So up until now, V1 is thus charged with 1 count of mischief, 5 counts of theft, 3 counts of attempted murder, and 1,812 counts of first-degree murder. So the question now is the punishment for each of these crimes. Overall, the penalty for the amount of damages V1 is responsible of is 10 years in prison. Assuming this stolen core eject is an estimated $558, watch this video on how I got to that conclusion, it will count as a summary conviction, which carries the penalty of either $5,000 or 2 years in jail. For this charge, I'm leaning more on the fine. The same will go for the stolen freeze frame cannon. The knuckle blaster and the whiplash are a little hard to pinpoint, since you steal them both and have no way to measure how much they cost or anything. But we can speculate. The knuckle blasters the ARM V2 originally has equipped, like how V1 already has the feedbacker built in. And because the V-series were state-of-the-art machines built for warfare / defense, I'm inclined to say that the knuckle blaster, much like the feedbacker, would be quite pricey, being the latest in technology. So I'm inclined to count it as an indictable offense, with a maximum punishment of 10 years. The whiplash, because it's custom made, I wouldn't say would cost as much as the knuckle blaster, so I'll treat it as a summary conviction. And I'm thinking the fine is enough. That crane is definitely worth more than $5,000. He immediately gets another 10 years. And because V1 uses prohibited firearms, the first attempted murder would land him 5 years minimum for his first attempt, and 7 years for the other 2 charges. And overall, it's 19 years total for attempted murder. For the desecration of these 2 gentlemen here, it would amount to another 10 years. V1 would get about a $200 fee for fishing without a license, and 6 months for an authorized possession of firearm, which would have to be multiplied for all the weapons V1 can get, except for the jackhammer because it's not a firearm. So it would amount in total to 10 years and 6 months. The penalty for the murder charge means V1 is in prison until he dies, or he dies 1,812 times over, depending whether he's serving his time consecutively or concurrently. In total, that's $15,200 in fines he has to pay, 69 years and 6 months of prison time, as well as 1,812 life sentences. So it looks like we won't be seeing our favorite murder machine anytime soon. If you made it this far, I thank you for watching up until this point. I appreciate it. I apologize for taking so long to put out this video.